Welcome to a journey into the profound depths of Holy Scripture. Far too often we approach these ancient texts with a literal mindset, inadvertently obscuring the vast spiritual treasures they hold. This video will explore how sacred writings, particularly the Bible, are multi-layered tapestries of divine revelation, designed not merely as historical records, but as profound guides for our inner spiritual transformation. Join us as we uncover the timeless wisdom embedded within these words, and discover how they speak directly to the awakening of the human soul. The ancients understood that the opening chapters of Holy Scripture were never intended as a literal account of the material universe's creation. Far from being mere historical records, these scriptures were crafted to convey spiritual instruction, specifically the Lord's creation of a new heaven and earth within the human mind. Through the vivid imagery of a natural world being brought into existence, every receptive mind receives guidance on how the influx of divine life illuminates and creates all things in the very act of our perceiving them. When understood in this way, the Garden of Eden, its trees, the serpent, and all other elements within these early chapters are clearly not historical events or physical entities. Instead, they are deeply symbolic representations, revealing spiritual truths about the inner life rather than simply documenting natural facts. This profound emphasis on spiritual realities in early scripture, however, began to shift as humanity's focus gradually moved towards the material world, valuing external realities more. This change was reflected in divine revelation itself. We see a clear contrast. Genesis's opening chapters employ a mythological symbolic style, while from Abram onwards the narrative becomes distinctly more factual and historical. This change in style mirrors humanity's changing priorities and consciousness over time. Divine revelation emerges from a progressive stepping down of divine influx. Imagine divine life descending through various levels of consciousness, each level clothing higher truths in its own language and forms of expression. Thus, sacred scripture, in its surface meaning, reflects the culture, values, and interests of the minds of those through whom it was given. Even in its literal form, the word acts as a vessel for inexhaustible spiritual truths. These can be drawn forth from its letter through the right use of the science of correspondences. Because all natural phenomena exist as effects of spiritual causes, there's an intrinsic link between them, like clothing taking the form of the body it covers. Without understanding these correspondences, the profound spiritual meaning hidden within the literal text remains inaccessible, limiting its power to regenerate and transform the human mind. Indeed, the natural meaning found in the letter of the word is vital. It ensures that deeper spiritual realities can be accommodated within forms adapted to the limitations of our sensuous material thinking. In this way, what is essentially limitless is given the appearance of limitation, allowing our finite minds to be progressively opened to ever-expanding vistas of spiritual meaning. These vistas, in turn, are intrinsically related to those spiritual realities for which the more interior levels of the human mind were inherently designed. Regardless of whether it is presented in a profoundly symbolic form or as a record of historical events and thoughts, the Word unfailingly remains the divine truth in its absolute fullness, holiness, and power. Within its natural meaning, it steadfastly contains the all-powerful, holy, and inexhaustible perceptions of spiritual and celestial truth. This intrinsic duality allows the Word to be both accessible and profoundly meaningful to the mind when it is absorbed in sensual thought, while simultaneously offering a deeper spiritual understanding when the mind is predisposed to a finer spiritual disposition. In every conceivable mental state arising within the human mind on its journey of regeneration, the Word is perfectly able to meet and provide precisely what is needed to effect the salvation of the human race. As we conclude, remember that the Holy Scripture is far more than a collection of ancient stories or historical accounts. It is a living testament to divine love and wisdom, dynamically responding to every state of the human mind. By moving beyond a purely literal reading and engaging with its deeper symbolic truths through the science of correspondences, we unlock its boundless power. This understanding not only transforms our perception of these sacred texts, but more importantly, empowers our own journey of inner regeneration, guiding us towards the spiritual heaven and earth meant to flourish within each one of us. May this journey inspire you to seek the inexhaustible truths continually unfolding within the divine Word.